Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Cyber Seniors session. Today, we're going to be talking about taking photos and videos on your smartphone or tablet, and then how you can take those photos and send them off via text message or email, some other methods to friends and family. So we're going to be breaking this down into two sections. We're going to cover how you do this on Apple products, so iPads and iPhones, and how you generally do this with Android products, so Samsung, LG, all those types of phones, because it will be a slightly different process. But before we get going today, I want to say that today's webinar is proudly sponsored by Breezeline. Breezeline is the 8th largest cable provider in the US. Breezeline offers internet, TV, and voice services to residents and businesses in 12 states. So before we get started today, we're going to see a quick video from Breezeline.
Wi-Fi your way home, powered by Plume Home Pass. Technology that spreads ultra-fast Wi-Fi to every inch of your home. We make having a Wi-Fi supercharged home easy by including a SuperPod with your Wi-Fi gateway package. Learn more at breezeline.com.
Okay, on to it. Let's talk about how to take and send pictures and videos on your phone and tablet. All right, so as I said, we're breaking this up into Apple and Android devices. So if you're on an Apple device, skip to 1 minute and 40 seconds, and on an Android, you can skip to 12 minutes and 30 seconds in this video. All right, so let's start with iPhones and iPads. All right, so we're going to start off with the iPhone. So to start taking pictures on here, it's pretty straightforward. When you open up your iPhone or iPad, you're looking for the camera app, which on my phone is in the top row, second from the right. So we're going to click into that. And once we're in here, we'll see that initially we're on this screen. So our camera will be using our back-facing camera. So we have two cameras on our devices generally. One on the front where we can take selfies, and one on the back where we can just take normal pictures. It's automatically going to be set to that back-facing camera where we take our normal photos, and it should just be set on the normal photo setting. So to take a photo from here, all we really have to do is press that white button at the bottom of the screen, and that should take a photo. But we do have a few other options here. So right above that button, what you will see is some words. So right now we have photo highlighted in yellow. But if we take our finger and we swipe either way, right or left, over where it says photo, we'll get into other options. Directly to the left of that is video, and if you swipe over there, you can start taking videos instead of photos. But there might be also other photo or video settings. There's portrait photos, which basically allows you to take kind of nicer headshots of people. There's slow-mo, which is a video function that allows you to take slow motion videos. And there's a lot to explore there. So you can kind of scroll around and see the different options. But your main option here really just being the straight photo, and then directly to the left, straight video. Now, keeping our attention on the kind of bottom part of the screen here, just to the right of the white button where you take your photos, you'll see a little circle, and it has these arrows in it that are kind of circling around themselves. That button allows you to switch your camera from your front-facing camera to your back-facing camera and vice versa. So this is what allows you to either use a normal camera or use it as that selfie camera that we discussed, and you can just click that to switch the camera. If we then change our focus up to the top portion of our screen, we'll see a few things up there. In the top left, you can see a small little button, and it looks like a lightning bolt. That is your flash. That is how you can turn on and off your flash and other lighting features when you're taking photos. To the right, you may or may not have this function. We're looking very on the right top corner of the screen now. This allows you to take regular photos or what's known as live photos, which pretty much means that the camera takes, about 10 photos really quickly in succession. Basically takes a mini video, and it means that you can kind of see a little snippet of the moment rather than just a singular picture. It kind of plays a little video of the moment that lasts about 1 second. So that's an option to turn on or off there as well. Now, in the center top part of your screen, you might see a little arrow. Now, if we click on this arrow, what's going to happen is it will reveal more options basically for our photos. So you'll see once we've clicked on it, now we have all these different options at the bottom of our screen. So we can get more into the control of our flash, the lighting features. We can change the ratio of our shots. So we see it's 4:3 now. We can change that into 3:3, so it's square. 1:1, so it's square. We can change the brightness level, and at the very right we can change that one at the very right. Looks like a timer. That is our self-timer photo, so we can take a photo, click the button and it takes it 10 seconds later, that kind of thing. So this just reveals more options for us, and then we wish to close out this menu and go back to the regular view of our camera. We just click that arrow again at the top of the screen and it should return us back to that normal camera interface. Now, as I said, if you want to take a video, you will put your finger where it's highlighted in yellow photo, and swipe it to the right to select the video function. Once you do, your screen will turn to look like this. So now, much like taking a photo, all you have to do to take a video is click that red record button and it should start taking your video. Now, while you're taking your video, at the top of the screen, you'll see the numbers counting to tell you how long the video is. And what you can also do while in video taking mode is use your fingers on the screen to pinch in and out, and this will allow you to zoom in and out on whatever you're filming. This is also true when you're taking photos. So before you take a photo, if you'd like to zoom in, you just put your fingers on the screen and kind of put them on together and spread them apart while touching the screen to zoom in, and do the opposite motion, so from wide to inward when zooming out. Now, once you want to stop recording your video, just click that button once again. It's now a little red square and it should stop the video. Now, all photos and videos are automatically saved to your Photos app. So once you're done, if you want to go look at the photos or videos you just took, you'll just click that little box. It's in the bottom left corner of your screen. You'll see that's just a preview of whatever the photo or video you just took was. And if you click that, you'll be able to see and scroll through your content. So you'll see the photo you just took or the video you just took, and then you can scroll left to right to view other photos. Now, if you want to see a grand overview of all your photos, there's a little arrow in the top left corner. You can click that and that will show you a kind of grid view of all of your photos. And from this view, you can click onto any of those little thumbnails to enlarge the photo and see it in its full form. Now, say there is a photo here that you would like to send friends or family. Once you're in it, what you're going to do is you're going to click that little box with the arrow coming out of it in the bottom left corner. That is your share button. It gives you all the options about how to send it to people. And we can see just below the photo, we'll have text messages that we can send. So we can send a text to any people we've recently messaged. It should say their names there, but you'll have also options to send it via message, so iMessage, via email. You can also add it to a drive, so your Google Drive or any sort of other accounts you have there. It should be available kind of with those thumbnails. Now, you'll also have additional options if you scroll down from here. Things like copying the photo, so you can paste it into an email or text or wherever you want to put it. Using it as your wallpaper, so you can make it your background, or printing it. So a bunch of other options here to explore in terms of ways you can, share or do things with these photos and videos. But for the sake of example, let's try sending it in a text message. So what we'll do is we'll select that little icon with the iMessage symbol that says message below it. That should open a blank text message, and what you can do is in the to field at the top, put in the name of the contact or the phone number you would like to send this photo to, and then if you'd like to put an additional message or caption on the photo, you can see that there is still room to type below the photo. You can type there and then click that regular send button, just like you would send a normal text message, and you can send the photo that way. Now, say we wanted to email it. I use Gmail, so my example, this is Gmail. Yours we'll say mail, you'll see the email icon down there. You can click on it, and once again, it should open up a blank email template. And just like with the text message from here, we can insert an email into the to field at the top. We can also select write down a subject for the photo, and then we can write other stuff in the body of the email as well that we might like to include with sending the photo or video over. And then we just click send like we would on a regular email. Now, one last thing to go over, usually when we're sending photos or videos, maybe from the holidays or from a trip, we're not just sending one, we probably want to send, a few or a whole album of them. So it's important to also know how to send multiple photos or videos at once. So to do this, we want to get to that grid view of our photos. So when we were in our photos going through, get back to this grid view. What we can do from here is in the top right corner of the screen, you should see a button, it says select, and we're going to click on that. What that will allow us to do from here is then click on any photos we want, and as we click on them, they'll start to get marked with these little blue check marks, as you can see. And this means I've selected these photos. I can now then do the same thing I did with any single photo. So click that little box with the arrow in it in the bottom left corner of my screen, that share button. And then I can basically go through the same processes, selecting a text message or an email or any other app or program I want to share these with. And I can send them through that way, and I can select, as many as I want. To be honest about this method, generally you want to do kind of smaller batches at a time, maybe a few. Doing too many at once may slow it down and they may not send through properly. So like 4 or 5 at a time is good. Any more than that, you may run into some trouble, but it's an easier way to send bulk photos or videos. Anyway, that's kind of the basics on taking photos and videos on your iPhone or iPad and sending them out. Of course, there are other ways and other functions of our camera and ways to share photos that are out there, but these are the most straightforward, basic ways you might want to share stuff. So I hope it was helpful. Next, we're going to be talking about how to do the same stuff on Android devices. And now on to Android tablets and phones. So I want to preface this section by saying that whatever kind of Android device you have, this process may look a bit different. That's because Android is an operating system developed by Google, and then it's put onto a variety of different devices. So you may have an Android operating system on a Samsung, on an LG device, on a Lenovo device. So some of the ways it looks or operates can differ. So I just wanted to say that to preface this. But in any case, we will always start off with the same process. To get to our camera, there should be an app called Camera on your home page, generally on the front screen. This, on my device, it is in the bottom kind of left corner, one row up. So we're just going to click on that to open the camera. Now, once we are in our camera, it should look something like this. So generally, when we open it up, we are first seeing our camera through the back-facing camera. So we always, or more likely than not, always have 2 cameras on our device, one on the back and one on the front, which is, sometimes known as the selfie camera. But we always, when we open up, are usually shown the back camera view. And if we want to take a photo right away, it's pretty easy. There should be a little button. Mine's this white circular button near the bottom center. And I can just tap on that button to take a picture. I can also do things like use my fingers, putting them on the screen and expanding them out, or taking them and bringing them in. So pinching or in and out on the screen to zoom in and out on what I want to take photos of, and then I can press that button again and take photos. What you'll also notice is to the left of that picture taking button on my screen, there's a little circle button that has these arrows inside it circling itself. This may be located on a different portion of your screen, but that is the button that allows you to switch from your front-facing to back-facing camera, so we can go back and forth. And that symbol, the circling arrows, is generally the universal symbol for that. So wherever you see it, that should be its function. And then if you look even below that, the bottom, right now we're seeing some options. Right now, photo is highlighted, but we can see things like portrait, video, and in our case here, translate, which is a Google translation tool, which is actually pretty cool. You can point it at language written somewhere in a different language, and it can translate the actual words on your camera. So great when you're traveling. But that is how you can select different types of cameras. So right, we can take photos, we can take videos. The portrait mode generally allows you to take kind of maybe nicer looking headshots. So if you're just taking a photo of someone's face, might be a good option. And depending on your device, you may have more options than that as well. A lot of devices come with slow-mo shooting, so you can take slow motion video and stuff like that. But in order to navigate between these kind of camera settings, all we do is put our finger where it says photo currently, and we can swipe our finger from left to right to change from our photo camera to our video camera. Now, before we switch to video or anything like that, I want to redirect your attention to the top of the screen. So at the top of the screen, generally we'll see kind of extra settings for our photos. So in the top left corner of my screen currently, you can see a little gear icon. This will control different photo settings. If we're taking a video, maybe this is frames per second. Maybe this is the ratio that we're shooting at. So we're shooting probably 3:4 right now. We could change it to maybe 1:1, and that would be square. So stuff like that. And then on the right side, we see things like this moon and a little sun. That's going to be night shooting or using our flash. So different settings that we can use to control different lighting elements of our photos. And you might see different options up there, things like how you control brightness, whether you are shooting with a filter, so in black and white or sepia or whatever it might be. That's usually going to be located at the top of your screen there. Now we can pretty much mess around with any of these features and then just continue to take photos again. Always when you want to take that photo, just clicking that white circular button at the bottom. Now let's move over to video. So to do this, I will put my finger on the photo button and swipe to the left to get to video. So things don't look too different here in video. We're noticing now at the top, we just have the settings button. We're not getting as many lighting or flash features here. That is common that some of these different options might change or disappear. We still have the option to switch our camera from front camera to back camera. We can see that button still to the left of the now record button. And we'll see that the white button that was used to take photos now has a little red dot in it to signify that this is a start recording button. So in order to start filming, again, we can pinch in or out on our screen to zoom. We should also be able to pinch in and out on our screen to zoom in or out during the video, which is helpful as well. But if we want to start shooting, we just click that circle button with the red dot in the middle. All right, so once we start filming, we'll see all those other options disappear. The look of that record button changes to now be that square, which signifies the stop button. So when we want to stop recording, we'll just click that. And then at the top of our screen, we'll see a timing counter, and that's just telling us how long the video is. And when we wish to stop recording, just click that stop recording button down there, and it should stop. Now, when we stop taking a video or when we take any photos, all those photos and videos automatically get saved to our photo app or our gallery app, whatever it might be called on our particular device. And there is a shortcut to get there from within your camera app. You can go back to your home screen and open that photo app or that gallery app. But generally here, and sometimes it's to the right, sometimes it's to the left of that photo taking button or record button. You might see a little square or a little circle, in our case here, to the right of that record button. And you kind of see a little thumbnail or preview of the video or photo you just took. And when you click on that, that will open up your photo and video gallery. So here we are in that photo gallery. Now, when we click the preview, it just opens up in full display the photo or video we just took. So here's the photo I just took. And what I can do from here is start to swipe left and right eventually to scroll through all my photos so I can see all of the options here. Now, if I wish to see an overview of all my photos, so kind of a grid view of all my photos, I can just click on the icon. It's now in the top right corner. The middle icon looks like a series of little icons of photos. That will take me to my photo app and my full grid view of my gallery. This is one that may definitely differ between devices, and on a lot of devices this may present differently. So you often have an arrow, a left facing arrow in the top left corner of your screen, which brings you back to this view. So this functionality is one that definitely has room for change across devices. So you may need to click around or play around to find which button does that. In my case, it's that little stack of photo icon in the top right corner. So now I can see, I only have a few photos in here, but I can see my full photo gallery in little thumbnails. And then if I'd like to select a particular photo to zoom in on, to expand into full view, I can just tap on it with my finger and then I'll get back to that singular view. And when I'm in here, what I'll see is at the bottom a bunch of options. So in my case, a trash button, I can delete this photo, maybe an editing button so I can go in, edit, maybe add saturation, brightness, change a filter on it, crop the photo, zoom in on the photo, whatever I want to do, little basically just tiny photo editing features. And then I should also have a share button. Now mine says share underneath it. This is not always the case. So on Androids, we're generally looking for this icon where it's like a kind of a triangle-ish shape or an arrow shape with these little circles on each point. And that's generally the icon here for our sharing features. So if we click that, now we'll see options to do things like message, which could be text messaging, Gmail or an email app, whichever one you happen to have and be using most prominently, maybe Bluetooth if you have that kind of sharing capability on, or adding it to a Google Drive, saving it elsewhere. So have all of these options of where you can then put this photo besides just on your device. So for our example, we're going to look at how to send it in a text message and in an email, but we'll start with a text message. So in order to do that, all I do is just click on that Messages app. And now we're in there and I can see there's my photo attached. And all I have to do here is type in the recipient. So my keyboard should pop up and give me the option to type in a phone number or a name of a contact I have. I can just type that in. And then it also should give me room to write a message along with the photo. So I can tap just below where that photo is and type in that texting field as well, and then send off my message in the regular way I would send off a text message with the send button once the whole thing is written out. So it's pretty simple on that front. Now let's look at the email version of that. So here we are back again in that sharing menu. And this time I'm just going to click on Gmail, and that should open up a blank email template. So once again, similar with the text messaging, I have my to field already selected. My keyboard is up. I will just type in the email address or addresses of the people or person I'd like to send this photo to. I can click on subject, write a subject, and then you'll see there is still space here to compose the email. So I can also then write a message along with this photo or video and then send it by clicking the send button in the top right corner. So just like writing a regular email now, that photo is just also attached to it. Now the last thing I want to touch on is sending multiple photos or videos at once, because often when we are taking photos and videos and sending them off, we're not just going to send one. Maybe we had a birthday party or a family reunion and we want to send all of the images and videos we took. So in order to do that, we want to get back to that kind of grid view of all of our photos and videos. And in order to select multiple photos and videos, what we want to do is press on one of the photos, but don't just click and pull your finger away. Press and hold on the photo. And you'll do this until you see some sort of selection, or generally it's like a blue check mark or a check mark of sorts up here overtop the photo. So this will happen. And then once one is selected, you can simply just tap once on any other photo to also select it as something you'd like to send. Now, what we'll also notice, besides the photos being, highlighted or selected here, is that some of the options at the top of our screen have changed now. So we should see that sharing icon popping up here in the top right corner, that little arrow or triangle shape with the dots at the points. So then we can click that. That again takes us back to that same sharing menu we had before, and then we can do the same processes again, either text them or email this group of photos or videos. Now, one thing to be said about this is that the more items we select at once, the longer it may take, the stronger our internet connection has to be. So generally, it's best to do this in maybe groups of 5 or 4. Any more, you may have issues with the files attaching properly or the file size being too big on an individual text or email. So just a warning there, but that's a great way to be able to send a group of photos to people. Another option here is if we do have a cloud storage drive, and it's one of those options in our sharing menu, to do that, because that will enable us to put more photos out there at once. And then instead of sending them directly, maybe we send the link to the photo drive that we have or something like that. But that's how you take and share photos and videos on Android devices. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, you can call us at Cyber Seniors at 844-217-3057, or you can visit us online at www.cyberseniors.org. And once again, this webinar was proudly sponsored by Breezeline.